Hello and welcome to a coding session with Rune. We're doing Advent of Code. Now, what is Advent of Code? It is a, I think, 12-day long challenge where every day there's a new task that you have to program and then find a solution. I've never really done it, never really participated. All I really know is that it's kind of like you get a lead code thingy every day. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of create, kind of show me doing it in Rust, and hopefully, yeah, we can both learn something from it. So this is the Advent of Code website, adventofcode.com, and I've already done the first puzzle because it's that easy so far. I think every day it gets harder, right? So I've already done the first one. I just wrote like a, I don't know, a couple line script and it was already done. But I thought I'd work through it and do a, do my best a little more than quickly writing a shitty script. So yeah, I'll be doing the first one. I highly recommend you try it yourself first before seeing me or really anyone else program it. So start off with it has a whole bunch of text, but the essence is of this one, because I've already done it or I already know the issue. You have a dial, like a safe dial, starts at 50, it goes from 0 to 100, and you have a series of instructions, like left 68, so you turn the dial 68 to the left, wraps around, and then you follow the instructions, and every time it hits 0, you have to count it. That's it. So that's the first one, so I'm going to do that one. So this is a new one, new project. So we're going to init. We are going to download the actual input, which I think you can do it again here. So let's just copy paste it. Input.txt. Let's start input. And let's just do test input. Right, I thought it might be nice because they give like examples with this piece of text to kind of verify if our thing is actually working and do it on the real input. So we have a I'm gonna try to do it. One thing you have to know about me is I do program Rust, but I come from an enterprise C# background, so I'm gonna try to approach this from kind of a modeling perspective. So what I see here is I see a dial, I see instructions, and so I'm gonna put those into structures rather than immediately abstract them. And by abstract, I mean just write down a variable, integers, like, oh, this represents a dial. I'm going to make a dial, okay? So let's start with that. So we're going to, first of all, let's just allow that code. I think that's easiest. Let's restart Rust Analyzer. So we have a dial, right? And a dial has a position, which goes from 0 to 100. So I'm going to use a U32. And let's just create a constructor, right? So if I new self, and let's just say it has a beginning position that the caller of the constructor needs to provide. Okay, like that. And then when we start, let dial equals dial new at 50. I can barely see my keyboard from here. Okay, because again, the dial starts by pointing at 50. So that should be up to us, right? The dial itself doesn't know where it begins. If in the future the problem changes, let's say the client wants to update the number, you just have to put it here and you don't have to change the dial. Okay. And then we have to parse a file, right? So I'm thinking we should probably model each of these instructions. So we can parse a file line by line, map to like an iterator of these instructions. So let's do that. Let's say we have an enum, a dial action, and there's moving right by an amount, and there is moving left by an amount. Okay. And we want to parse this, right? So let's create a loose standing function, parse dial action. What are we going to take in? Well, we're going to take in string. Okay, and it's going to be a result. Either we're getting a dial action, or we fail to do it. We get a dial action parse error. And what can go wrong? Well, we don't know yet. So we'll just see it, right? Okay. So first thing we do is we should probably trim, right? So that trimmed equals string dot asref dot trimmed, or dot trim, I guess. So let's check the type. Control Alt. It says string right there. That's fine. And we probably, so this format is kind of fixed, right? You have one letter and then a number. So we should parse the first, we should match the first and then parse everything after that. So let direction, move amount, I guess. I think we can split. Can I get IntelliSense? Yeah. Okay. So I have two strings, and one's the direction, one's the move amount. So let's say we do the move amount first. Let move amount, so that it has to become a U32, right? So it's move amount dot parse dot. Now we get a result, right? Parse brings a result. We want to map the error variant to, I guess, the parse error, which is like invalid U32, I guess, or invalid move amount. That's more semantic, right? And then we can say the string, namely the thing that caused this error. Dial action parse error, dial invalid move amount. We do need to give the string, and the string that caused it is move amount, and we want to own it. And then we use the try operator. So that should be good. Save. So now we have a move amount, and now we need to match on direction, which is going to be either L. Okay, it's going to be either L, and then it's going to be an OK. Dial action, move left, move amount. Right, and then we have the same for R. It's going to be a move right. And if we have anything other than that, then we throw this invalid parse, or invalid direction, I guess. Again with the string. Error, dial action parse error, invalid direction. And then again we want to own this value now, because we don't. See, it's a reference. And doing this isn't bad for like perf either. So this should be fine. Yeah. Okay. So now we can parse from a string. Now we just actually need to load the string. So let's input, I guess. Let's use a buff reader, I guess. File open, input. Let's start with the test, right? Test.txt. Open gives us a result, so we always need to expect it. File exists. We expect the file exists, and thus it changes the result into just a success value. File. We want to read the file, so we say buff reader new input. Okay, and then we want to iterate over lines. I'm thinking we could just do this in line, right? Let's dial actions. Buff reader new dot lines dot map parse dial action. Right, lines here gives IO results, so we're just going to skip those. Okay, parse dial action, and obviously parse dial action also gives a result type, so we're also going to ignore those. Doesn't implement debug. Why do we need this? For the unwrap, I'm guessing. So we're going to derive debug. And there we go. Okay. So now I have a list of dial actions. We have the dial. This should probably be mutable because we're going to turn the dial, which will change it. And then for action, I guess, for action and dial actions, yeah, we want to modify this thing. Let's expose an API on here, right? So move or do action, whatever. Action, dial action. Should probably go by reference. And I don't see a way where this could fail. We're going to match on the action. And if we're moving right, we don't need to do anything special. We're just going to change our position by that amount. And if we reach past 100, right, then we need to go to 0. You can just do that using the modulo operator. Yeah, we should say self equals. Okay. And if we're moving left, we need to do some special logic, right? Because you can't just subtract any U32 from any U32, right? So the issue is if our position is at like 10, we need to move left by 20, we want to end up at 90. So I'm thinking we should pad. I mean, there's a million ways to do this. I guess you could just use I32s, right? I guess it would be easier. I just don't like the... I wish you had like types where you could specify the range always, but I'm going to use padding. So I'm going to say the padding equals amount divided by 100 plus 1 times 100. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying like, hey, I want to subtract by this amount. I'm going to use this operator anyway, so this is not going to change the final solution, but this is going to make it so that, for example, if we have 10, we want to subtract 20, I'm going to add 100 to the 10 to get 110, and then subtract the 20 to get 90. Do whatever you want, right? But this is one way you can do it. So the position equals, I guess we're going to do self position plus padding minus the amount, and this is U32 minus U32. Very unsafe, but we know it's going to be okay as long as our position isn't, our position is always going to be between 0 and 100. So this is also going to be okay if our amount isn't near like the maximum U32, which I hope it's not going to be. So this should be fine. So let's just do this. Can you do this? Yeah, okay. And then we're just going to say dial dot do action. Oh, right, and every time it hits 0, we want to count something, right? So, well, it's private, but we're in one file, so everything is public. I guess we could do get position itself, and then you get U32. Okay. This does a copy, but it's fine, right? It's faster even. If dial.getPosition equals 0, let mut times 0. So this is the amount of times that we hit 0, right? So then we're going to increase it, and we're going to exit our program by simply printing it. Hello? That's fine. Yes. Okay. Let's run it. So this gives 3, which I think is indeed the example that they gave. And the correct answer of 1 was 1034. So let's test if that is actually the case. All right, so we have the actual input here. Let's check if it works. 1034. Nice. So yeah, that was the first part. I think this is still 1 day, right? So let's just continue to part 2. And this is the part I haven't done yet. So I have read through it. So this is so the point here is that every time you rotate past 0, like through 0, you have to count the 0. So if you start at 10, it says move left 20. Well, you're going through 0 to get to 90, right? So you could do some clever math here, but I don't want to burden myself with too much math. So what I was thinking here is to just create like a split function. I'm not saying this is like any like good solution, but it's just something you can do, right? And then you just match on itself. So the idea is that like, oh, instead of moving right 100 at a time, right? You move once 100 times and you just do this exact same check. And the reason why I kind of want to do this is because I don't have to change any existing code. I just append to what I already have. So it just makes the whole load for me easier. So we want to match on self move left amount, and we're going to return, well, amount and then self move left 1. This is kind of what I was thinking. And in reality, you want unit tests for all of this stuff, right? But okay, so this needs to consume, so let's remove that. Let's say let amount move single equals actions.separate, and then for nothing in oops, you do need that, for nothing, and then just do this. Yeah, by reference, of course. So what I'm doing here is when it parses like move right 100, I'm going to say, oh, I will separate it. So you do 100 times move right 1, right? And then it does the singular movements, and then click, click, click when it hits 0. Then if it passes 0 in one kind of these big actions, you still get the increase. So that's just what I'm doing. Let's see what it does on the test input. I think we are expecting 6, and it gives 6. So, okay, you might be like, why are you doing this? This is insane. Like, you're turning 1,000 into 1,000 iterations? Yes, I am. It makes the mental load a lot easier, and the computer can do a billion operations a second, okay? It's fine. It's fine. Unless we get, like, a text file with a billion rows, which we might get further in the challenge, but for now, this is completely fine. It's just, let's keep it easy. So let's go to input the text, run it. We get 6166. So let's type that in. And that was right. So we've completed day 1. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you for day 2. Bye-bye.